in the dusty roads, monumental music. And they said we couldn't Fuzz Jaxx. Sam Brown on the beat. We got D Allen in the studio. What's up, D? You know what I'm saying? Keeping his family in here. Yes! I know I got to say my shit. Yes! Yes! Come on. Yo. Southern boy. Okay, this is why I never got to ask you this like off camera. But what was I want to know the reaction, man, like when you heard you got nominated, yo, like what that, cuz I could only imagine, like me, I would like lose my shit, but like,
I pretty much lost my shit. It was really funny cuz like our reactions, like Fonte and my reactions were like day and night. Very much in sync with who we are as people. Like, right. Fonte didn't believe it and went to bed. He was just like, well, he just, you know, they're fucking with me. I was going to bed, and he woke up the next day, and he had like 150 text messages or something, and that's when he knew, like,
it was real.
Probably real. And I definitely had a day of like severely feeling myself. You know what I'm saying? Which is,
as you should.
Yeah. I just took the day to really kind of you know, do the whole ego thing and stuff. And after that I was kind of over it, and I was like, well, you know, at that point I just more focused on how can we use this to, you know, further the group and benefit the group and you know, get the word out, because that's, I think, at the ultimate, like, I don't think at the end of the day we cared about the award as much. I mean, right. I think that's really cool, but I don't really care too much about it, but I think we really cared that it gave us a bigger bullhorn,
right? You
know, and that it allowed us to reach more people.
Yeah,
you know. So for that, I think we're very grateful for the experience. But I definitely flipped out. I didn't believe it. I mean, it was really crazy because like we didn't ever think and I mean, I'm not saying this just to make the story better, but we really didn't think that would ever happen.
Right.
You know, realistically speaking, I knew that, and I still do, like, that our music is good enough to compete on that level.
Right.
But to think that it would actually happen, I never thought in a million years.
That's a good story, man. I've been wanting to ask you that for a while because I can only imagine getting a phone call or a text
I got a phone call
tweet
from got a phone call from Yazra, because she at the time was affiliated. She was working with the Grammys.
Okay.
And so she had gotten the heads up. It was like a day before they officially announced the nominees, because they always announce them in December at some point. You know, they do the little concert.
Yeah. And
they announce them, and so we got the heads up like a day in advance of like, yo, get ready, because it really is gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Well, got a couple more questions for you, man. I want to know, like, how do you feel about the state of, like, I don't want to sound corny and say the state of hip hop, but how do you feel about just hip hop in general right now? What's going on? Coming from that side, you know, transitioning to well, I'm not gonna say transition because you've always been a soulful cat, so that's enough said. Like, but like, you know, being hip hop rooted at first when you jumped in, like, and seeing how it is now and seeing how it's played out with lyrics and fashion, whatever. Like, how do you feel about the way it is now versus how it was when you first got in?
It seems like it's I get what you say. You know, for me, I think for a lot of people of my age and my generation, like, I got into hip hop in the late '80s, you know, and I got and by the early '90s, like, I was pretty much exclusively hip hop at that point. Just at least for the first half of the '90s, I was very much into the art form, and it seemed at that time that it was definitely that the sky was the limit. You know what I'm saying? And I think at the same time, looking back, I think that where music is now, where hip hop is now, is a direct result of things that were happening in later on in the '90s, like, you know, how Puff Daddy came around and made things, like, you know, noticeably more commercial, and it went from bad to worse. I think at this point it's almost like there's a whole, you know, I mean, the term underground, I think, is becoming more relevant again, because what's happening is, like, more than ever before, I think there's like a separation between the stuff that is being done on a Run the Jewels level or you know, stuff like that, versus what is actually in the top 40, which is Iggy Azalea or you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think right now, I remember, you know, in the 90s it was like, you know, if you wanted to get, you know, if you wanted to really get your fix in terms of underground hip hop, you know, you had to look at like a Raucous, or you had to look at a you know, like I don't know any other example, but
like a hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, and
yeah.
I think we're there again now, where nowadays if you wanna get, you know, dope music, you have to look outside of like what's you know, commercially selling a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of opportunities right now, though.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that as easy as it is to complain about what's happening with music, it's much harder to make a difference, you know, or to contribute yourself to making a change. So I'd much rather kind of, you know, let the music speak rather than just complain about, you know, a lot of people complain about Iggy Azalea or Macklemore winning a Grammy, and it's not that I don't get it, because it is kind of interesting, considering just the history of the art form, but at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is like try to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've always tried to do.
That's what's up. So my final question is, what's next for Foreign Exchange? Like new project coming soon?
I'm doing my solo project soon. That's something that I'm really excited about, because what we normally do as Foreign Exchange is once we do an album and we do a big old tour, and after that we kind of, you know, go our separate ways, and I'll do an album and he'll, you know, Fonte will do a solo project, and we kind of use that experience and that, you know, whatever we learn through that, we take that, and when we come back together as Foreign Exchange, it, you know, we are stronger for it. Okay. So right now we're kind of in that phase of like, we just came off tour, you know, we toured pretty much the entire year, and so now we're kind of exploring, you know, some stuff that we really want to do.
Right.
I'm doing a project. Fonte's more than likely doing like another solo album.
That's what's up.
And then after that, we're, you know, looking towards doing another record. I think we'll always do records, you know. I think it just goes automatically. It's like, you know, I mean, it's not even like something that you can really turn off, you know what I mean? So as long as I draw breath, I'll probably be making music.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
That's what's up. Well, yo.
Those are famous last words, if there was any. Like, you know, I didn't even write that out. I didn't even.
This guy.
I just came up with that. It's incredible.
No doubt. Well, hey, look, man, I appreciate you, man, taking the time, letting us come through, man.
Yeah, anytime,
you know
bro.
I appreciate it. www.imfj.com.
Check it out.
Nicolay in the building. Shout out Trigger Mike. We see y'all, man.